Hey guys, welcome back to SNK Pulse. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the US Select Committee on China's recommendation that India be part of NATO Plus. NATO Plus is an informal arrangement between NATO and a select group of non-NATO countries. The arrangement provides these countries with access to NATO's intelligence, planning, and training resources. India is currently not a member of NATO Plus, but the US Select Committee on China believes that its inclusion would be beneficial to both India and NATO. The committee's report cited several reasons for recommending India's inclusion in NATO Plus. First, the report noted that India is a major democracy with a shared commitment to the rule of law and human rights. Second, the report highlighted India's growing military power and its strategic importance in the Indo-Pacific region. Third, the report noted that India has a long history of cooperation with NATO. The committee's report is significant because it is the first time that a US government body has formally recommended that India be part of NATO Plus. The report's recommendations are likely to be welcomed by the Indian government, which has been seeking closer ties with NATO in recent years. However, it is important to note that the recommendations of the US Select Committee on China are not binding on the US government. The Biden administration will ultimately decide whether or not to include India in NATO Plus. The question of whether India should be part of NATO Plus is a complex and multifaceted one. Here are a few points to consider. Strategic importance: India occupies a critical position in the Indo-Pacific region and has significant geopolitical influence. Its inclusion in NATO Plus could strengthen the alliance's presence in the region and contribute to maintaining stability. Shared democratic values: India is the world's largest democracy and shares a commitment to the rule of law and human rights. NATO members prioritize democratic principles, and India's inclusion could further reinforce these values. Counterterrorism and security cooperation: India has been an active participant in global counterterrorism efforts and has faced security challenges in its region. Closer cooperation with NATO could enhance India's capabilities in combating terrorism and addressing common security threats. China factor: the recommendation by the US Select Committee on China reflects the growing concerns about China's assertive behavior in the Indo-Pacific. Including India in NATO Plus could help counterbalance China's influence in the region. On the other hand, there are also potential challenges and considerations. Non-aligned policy: India has a long-standing policy of non-alignment and has traditionally avoided formal military alliances. Joining NATO Plus could require India to adjust its foreign policy approach and carefully navigate its relationships with other countries, including Russia, which has been a significant defense partner. Regional dynamics: India's inclusion in NATO Plus may have implications for its relationships with other regional powers, such as China and Pakistan. It could potentially exacerbate tensions and create a more complex security environment in South Asia. Institutional challenges: NATO is primarily focused on Europe and the North Atlantic region. Expanding its scope to include India would require adjustments to its structures, decision-making processes, and resource allocation, which could present logistical and bureaucratic challenges. If India were to join NATO Plus, it could have implications for Pakistan, India's neighboring country and historical rival. Here are a few potential impacts. Security concerns. Pakistan may perceive India's inclusion in NATO Plus as a threat to its security. It could heighten Pakistan's security anxieties and potentially lead to a further arms race in the region. Pakistan may feel compelled to strengthen its own military capabilities to maintain a balance of power. Regional power dynamics. India's inclusion in NATO Plus could potentially tilt the regional power balance in favor of India. This could impact Pakistan's influence and strategic positioning in the region, potentially leading to a more assertive Indian foreign policy. Kashmir issue. The long-standing dispute over Kashmir between India and Pakistan could be further complicated. Pakistan has been advocating for international intervention in the Kashmir issue, and India's closer ties with NATO might make it more challenging for Pakistan to garner support for its stance. Diplomatic relations. India's inclusion in NATO Plus could strain Pakistan's diplomatic relations with NATO countries. Pakistan has traditionally maintained close ties with countries like China and Russia, which may have different perspectives on India's role within NATO Plus. This could potentially impact Pakistan's diplomatic maneuverability. Counterterrorism cooperation. Both India and Pakistan have experienced significant challenges related to terrorism. If India were to strengthen its counterterrorism cooperation with NATO through its inclusion in NATO Plus, it could lead to enhanced intelligence sharing and training, which may indirectly benefit Pakistan in its own efforts to combat terrorism. It is important to note that these are potential impacts and the actual consequences would depend on various factors, including the specific terms and conditions of India's inclusion in NATO Plus. The response of other regional powers, and the actions and policies adopted by both India and Pakistan in this context. So, what do you guys think? Should India be part of NATO Plus? And what's the impacts on Pakistan and regional dynamics? Let us know in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. For more informative content, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our Facebook page, SNK Pulse. Thanks for watching.